This morning, we're analyzing a two-pronged security crisis that underscores a resurgence and unboldment of terrorist threat in Nigeria. Now, point one, a proactive yet leaked DSS alert reveals plans by ISWAP to strike communities in Ondo State, forcing the government to call for calm. Point two, confirmed simultaneous attacks by Boko Haram and ISWAP have already hit multiple locations in Borno and Yobe states overnight. To analyze these complex web of local violence, we are joined by two key voices in the studio. With us is former lawmaker who represented the Zamfara Central Constituency, Senator Saidu Mohammed and Saidu. And joining us via Zoom is Major General Umar Mohammed, retired. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak this morning.
Thank you very much. Happy to be with you this morning.
Absolutely. All right. Now, looking at the state of Nigeria's security and the recurrence and resurgence of insecurity in parts of the country, and it's seeping down and trickling down to Ondo now with the recent reports that we've gotten. How do you think the government is attacking, should I say, this problem at this point?
No, you see, to be honest, it is a problem that has been with us for so long. And I think one may say that it is the nonchalant attitude of successive government to squarely, attack the issue of insecurity that made it to linger on and to keep on worsening, from bad to worse, up to the stage in which we are today. Culprits are caught severally, no sanction, nothing whatsoever. As a result, people feel one can do anything he likes to do in Nigeria. One can encroach into other people's rights. One can even kill, other people, and nothing happens. And, in today's world, once you are making money out of an enterprise, you will continue to be in that enterprise, and you will also attract others to join you in that enterprise. And that's what has happened, in the area or in the menace of insecurity, in this country. Initially, one can describe it as mere skirmishes, between farmers and herders. And it kept on worsening until it reaches the level in which we are. So local bandits, began to invite neighboring bandits, from our neighboring countries. And it took the dimension it took. Not only that, the locals, that is to say, the farmers themselves, the villagers, gradually, steadily, were recruited into the menace. And as I'm talking to you today, it will be very, very unfair to just accuse the herders, the Fulanis, of this armed banditry, because there's a large proportion, of locals, that have joined the Fulanis, and they are perpetuating, this criminality, and nothing is being done. Severally, we have caught informants, take them to police, local police. Before you know it, they are released. We now began to take them to the state headquarters, or police. Before you know it, within 3-4 days, they are released. So this is the crux of the problem, lack of sanction. Because if successive governments, since these insecurity challenges started, have been up and doing by way of, administering penalties, arraigning them before the court of law, and let those who are guilty be sentenced, either to imprisonment, short term, long term, or to even public prosecution. Look, you may not know very well, early in the 70s, after the Civil War, when armed robbery started, the government then, military government then, was very much serious about it, to the extent that when people were called, in fact, the military government set up tribunals, for armed robbery. And in a state like 10 people or more than that will be found guilty and they will be sentenced to public prosecution, they will line up.
All right.
And military men will come and publicly they are prosecuted. And before you know it, within 1-2 years, armed robbery became history. So once you have a challenge, especially a security challenge, and you don't administer sanction, be rest assured, especially in this era where a lot of money is being made out of it, is going to continue to flourish to the level that you may find it extremely difficult to tackle. And I'm sorry to say we are heading toward that direction. May God forbid.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's move to Major General Umar Mohammed, retired. And at this point, would say many Nigerians recall that banditry and insurgency were said to be technically defeated in Nigeria. And with this particular attack on troops in Borno, Maiduguri, how do you think that is possible? And it's been recurring. This is not the first time that there's been an attack on troops in Nigeria by insurgents, by Boko Haram or ISWAP. But what is your take on this with the insight that you do have?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
You are actually correct that at a stage we had stated that a lot of successes were achieved. And we even stated that they were technically defeated. It is true that there was a time when Boko Haram was actually technically defeated, because at that time we were able to attack and dislodge them from their stronghold, which was Sambisa Forest. They call it Camp Zero, where Shekau was staying. However, as you said, over time, it seems there is a resurgence. This resurgence can be attributed to so many factors. Number one, I've stated it even in my previous interview, that we actually have a proliferation of small arms and light weapons. Weapons are coming into Nigeria from so many directions that currently the government and nobody can ascertain the exact number of weapons in this country. And thirdly, I want to also toe the line of the previous speaker, that we are dangerously moving into what is called a war economy, in which everybody is benefiting from the crisis. We have some bad eggs in the military, in other security agencies. We have seen some who are caught trying to steal weapons. We have locals who are providing information, who are getting money from it. We also have even international players in the name of humanitarian agencies. Some of them are doing humanitarian work, but some of them are into so many untoward attitudes, such as providing information, supplying arms and ammunition, and so many other untoward activities. Additionally, there is a causative reason for insecurity which allows it to thrive, especially in the north. I have stated repeatedly that there is a nexus between poverty, illiteracy, and insecurity. If you check in the index, you could see that the northern parts of the country is at the lowest level in terms of prosperity. So the issue of the fact that so many people don't have what to do, some of them don't have skills, they don't have any training, and their communities are also abandoned, they are ungoverned, because there are some communities that don't have schools, don't have courts. This is also another reason. Thirdly, as I have also stated it before, that there is actually a nexus between insecurity and injustice. It is a fact that hardly, and I repeat hardly, are criminals punished in Nigeria. We have some obnoxious laws. For instance, somebody will kidnap somebody, kill him, and then if he goes to the court, if he is arrested by the police, after 48 hours, the police will say that by law they are mandated to release him. And you have to be moving from pillar to post, talking to them, and they will not agree. Before you know it, they are released. And sometimes if you tell them to take them to court, some of them will, before you know it, even if he goes to court, before you know it, the magistrate or somewhere will now say you don't have sufficient evidence. And people have testified that he's a criminal, he's a kidnapper. So I think there is need for us to ensure that criminals are punished, and they should be punished appropriately. Punishment serves as deterrence. It's punishment that will make people to know that this is not acceptable to the society. So you see, some of these things are some of the reasons why, instead of us, once we have success in one area, before you know it, there's a resurgence in another area. Because if we're here, we're not there. And we have so many people who are into it. Some are informants, you see, people who are in the bush, they can't survive in the bush without the people in the town. So it's people in the town that will provide them with food, with women, with ammunition, with foil, and with everything that they need to be sustained in where they are. And all these things, because this is why I say what we need is a whole society approach. That means the security agencies, the traditional rulers, and the people themselves. All of us have to come together and agree that we don't want this. And if we do that, there is no way a bandit or somebody will stay in the bush and survive without support from people from the town. You could see that people are supplying them with bread, with food. In fact, even when they now say no foil in their area, some people devise all kinds of ways of smuggling foil to them. So this is why there is a lot of efforts that we need to do. However, I agree with you that the government, because the whole thing lies on the government. And if the government is bent on ending this, it should. Because if the government say whoever does this must be punished, if the government says that whoever shows any kind of laxity will lose his job or appointment, everybody will wake up. So I agree with you that we need the government has to be very, very tough, has to show a lot of commitment if we were to end this.
All right.
Okay, let's come back to you, Senator Saidu. There seems to be lots of distrust between the communities and the military.
Hearing problem.
Okay, there seem to be a lot of distrust and doubt between the community leaders and the military, especially what happened in Borno earlier this week. the Boko Haram, attacking the military formation. So now, what initiatives can be implemented to build trust between security agencies and local communities in conflict-affected areas? And how can community leaders contribute to peace-building efforts?
No, honestly, to be fair, especially to the military, they have used different strategies, different initiatives, and these initiatives have yielded some reasonable result. But after a while, it becomes a different story. How? You see, in a number of cases, the military will carry out an operation, arrest so many of these bandits, kill many, bring home some of their cattle, their motorcycles, and so on and so forth. Now, when they hand over those who have been arrested to the police, and also hand over, say, for example, the herds of cattle that have been arrested as well to the police, so that during prosecution, they will serve as, evidence before the court of law. Before you know it, you find these cattle in the market being sold. After a while, like I've said earlier on, you see this bandit, released. So as a result of that, the military became relaxed, so to say. Some bad eggs among them joined the bandwagon of, I would say, the bad eggs also in the police, by way of cooperating with the bandits, take money from them, turn your eyes the other side while they perpetrate whatever criminality they are perpetrating against the citizens. But to answer your question, you see, what needs to be done at this point in time is to fund the military very well. The soldiers on the battlefront must be adequately taken care of. And then both federal and state governments should take concrete steps by prosecuting those who have been arrested, by the military and handed over to the police, because the military doesn't prosecute. The state government must put their eyes on the police and monitor what is happening in terms of investigation and make sure that those that have been arrested and handed over to the police are prosecuted. Not only just being prosecuted, we know what the judiciary is today. The state government also should put their eyes, on the on courts, so that they don't take money and release. If I tell you a story, you shed tears. Somebody informed a governor that there are 5 kingpins of this banditry. These are their real names. But on their passport, these are their names on the passport. Right now, 2 are in Sokoto Airport. Next flight, they will board for pilgrimage. 2 are in camp. The next bus that will be taking pilgrims to airport to be carrying the 2. 1 is in Kano Airport, so international flight. In fact, all the 4 were arrested. The one in Kano got information and ran away. He escaped. And the governor made sure that these people are prosecuted. And what will amaze you, instead of arraigning this police before a court of law in the state capital, where they were arrested, they were arraigned before a court outside the state capital.
All right.
And before you know it, they were released.
All right.
In fact, and acquitted.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
And the person who got the information, immediately they were out, they called him and told him that you have seen your work and you see our own. Within the next 3 days, his house, his village was attacked. 12 people were killed.
All right.
All right, let us hear from, thank you so much. Let us hear from Major General Umar Mohammed. Before we go, let us hear last point. We've seen that a lot would say the resurgence is a sign of Nigeria's security reforms not working, or that criminal groups are simply adapting faster than the state. So quickly, we have about 1 minute to go. Can you give us what the federal government can do? We've heard from, Senator Saidu. We want to hear from you what the government can do to effectively, cut off and curtail this menace that is going on in Nigeria.
My advices are simple. Number one is that we need to increase funding for the armed forces by provision of additional equipment. We need to recruit more manpower, because I can tell you that the number of the armed forces, especially the army, is very small, considering the enormous challenges before us. Number three, we need to make sure that we bring new policies that will mop up all the weapons in circulation, and then make sure that all the borders, all the places that are being used to bring in weapons are closely monitored and effectively controlled. Then, number five, we need to make sure that our rural areas are developed. Persons are given skills that they can be able to live without actually seeing themselves doing nothing and finding themselves indulging in criminal and in crimes and criminality. These things are very, very important. And then the government should make sure that all criminals that are actually arrested, they should be speedily dealt with. In fact, I'm of the view that the government should think of coming up with special courts that should try kidnappers, insurgents, and it should be advertised. Whoever is arrested, people should see what is happening to the end, and this should quickly be tried and be given justice. If it means killing them, please, we should speedily do that. We should come up with an emergency, we should come up with special courts that will try these insurgents and bandits. We should move them from the normal courts. Right. And we should make sure that they are tried speedily and punished speedily.
All right, thank you.
That will assist greatly.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Senator Saidu Mohammed and Saidu, for being here and giving so much insight, as well as you, Major General Umar Mohammed, retired, for joining us via Zoom and giving a lot of different perspective as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right.